Have you ever wondered where the line is between a friendly chat and something more? It's a question many of us never think we'll have to ask, especially not in our own relationships. Today I want to share a story that explores this very question. It's about Mark and Sarah, a couple who seem to have it all: a marriage built on years of trust, shared dreams, and a deep, genuine friendship. Their story is a powerful reminder of how easily the digital world can blur the lines we think are so clearly drawn. Mark and Sarah had been together for 12 years, married for 8. They were that couple everyone admired. They finished each other's sentences, shared inside jokes, and supported each other's careers unconditionally. Mark was a software engineer, logical and steady. Sarah was a freelance graphic designer, creative and full of life. Their home was their sanctuary, filled with laughter, art projects, and the comforting predictability of a loving partnership. Trust wasn't just a word for them, it was the bedrock of their entire life together. They shared passwords, bank accounts, and every detail of their days. There were no secrets. The change began subtly, almost imperceptibly. Like so many of us, Sarah found community online. She joined a forum for graphic designers, a place to share ideas, get feedback, and network with peers from around the world. It was exciting and creatively stimulating. She'd often tell Mark about her discussions, showing him impressive designs from other artists and laughing about funny comments. Mark was genuinely happy for her. He saw how much she enjoyed this new outlet, and he encouraged it. It was healthy, he thought, for her to have her own space, her own tribe. Among the many people Sarah interacted with was a man named Alex. He was a talented designer from another country, and his work was brilliant. Their conversations started professionally, critiquing each other's portfolios and discussing new design software. But soon their talks drifted. They discovered a shared love for old movies, a similar taste in music, and the same quirky sense of humor. Their professional chats turned into personal DMs. They started talking every day, from the moment Sarah woke up too late into the night. At first, Sarah shared bits of these conversations with Mark. "Alex sent me the funniest meme today," or "Alex and I were just talking about this movie you'd love." Mark would smile and nod, happy that his wife had a new friend. He trusted her completely. Why wouldn't he? It was just talking. In his mind, there was a vast, uncrossable ocean between a digital friendship and a real-world affair. He had no reason to be jealous or suspicious, but for Sarah, the lines were starting to blur. The constant validation and attention from Alex were intoxicating. He understood her creative struggles in a way Mark, the engineer, couldn't. He praised her work with an artist's eye, and he listened to her day-to-day frustrations with an empathy that felt incredibly personal. The good morning texts from Alex were often the first thing she saw each day, and their goodnight messages were the last. She started reaching for her phone instinctively, her heart giving a little flutter when she saw his name pop up on the screen. She began to consciously omit details when talking to Mark. She stopped mentioning Alex by name. Her late nights working on a project were actually hours spent in deep conversation with him. She started guarding her phone, angling it away from Mark when they sat on the couch together. A tiny seed of guilt had been planted, but she rationalized it away. "We're just friends," she told herself. "It's harmless. We live thousands of miles apart. What could possibly happen?" Mark began to notice a shift, not in any single dramatic event, but in a series of small, unsettling changes. The easy flow of their evening conversations became strained. Sarah seemed distracted, her mind elsewhere. She was often tired and irritable. The inside jokes fell flat, and the comfortable silences were now filled with the soft glow of her phone screen. He felt a distance growing between them, a coolness he couldn't quite put his finger on. He tried to talk to her about it. "Is everything okay, honey? You seem far away lately?" Sarah would brush it off. "Just stressed with work," she'd say, forcing a smile. Big deadline coming up. Mark wanted to believe her. He told himself he was being paranoid, that he was imagining things. He reminded himself of their 12 years together, of the unshakable trust they had built. But the feeling of unease lingered, a quiet hum of anxiety in the back of his mind. The breaking point came on a Tuesday evening. It was their anniversary. Mark had planned a special night. He cooked her favorite meal, bought a beautiful bouquet of roses, and found the expensive bottle of wine she loved. Envisioned a quiet, romantic evening, a chance to reconnect and shut out the world. but Sarah was glued to her phone. She barely touched her food, offering one-word answers to his questions, her thumbs flying across the screen. A wave of frustration and sadness washed over Mark. He finally said, "Sarah, can you please put the phone away? Just for tonight. It's our anniversary." Sarah looked up, startled, a flicker of guilt in her eyes. "I'm sorry," she said, placing the phone face down on the table. But a few minutes later, it buzzed. Without thinking, she flipped it over. Mark caught a glimpse of the screen, message from Alex with 3 heart emojis. In that instant, the world tilted on its axis for Mark. It wasn't the message itself, but the look on Sarah's face, the panic, the guilt, the immediate attempt to hide the screen. It was a look he had never seen before. All the small, disconnected pieces suddenly clicked into place. The late nights, the guarded phone, the emotional distance, all made a terrible, gut-wrenching kind of sense. "Who is Alex?" he asked, his voice quiet and dangerously calm. Sarah froze. The color drained from her face. She tried to stammer out an explanation. "He's just a friend from the forum. It's nothing." But the lie was hollow, and they both knew it. The dam of secrets broke, and the truth came flooding out in a torrent of tears and confessions. Sarah admitted everything: the daily chats, the emotional intimacy, the "I love yous" they had exchanged. She insisted it was never physical, that it was just emotional, as if that would somehow lessen the blow. For Mark, the distinction didn't matter. The betrayal was absolute. The trust that had been the foundation of their marriage was shattered. It wasn't about another person's body. It was about another person's heart. Sarah had given her emotional energy, her vulnerability, and her intimacy to someone else. She had built a secret world with another man, a world where Mark was not invited. The person he thought he knew better than anyone on earth had become a stranger. They spent weeks in a painful limbo. They tried therapy. Sarah deleted her social media accounts and cut off all contact with Alex. She was genuinely remorseful, horrified by the pain she had caused and the damage she had done. She begged Mark for forgiveness, promising she would do anything to rebuild their trust. But how do you rebuild something that has been completely pulverized? Mark tried. He truly did. He wanted to forgive her. He loved the woman he had married, the woman she had been for 12 years. But he couldn't look at her without seeing the betrayal. He couldn't hear her phone buzz without his stomach clenching. Every time she was quiet, he wondered who she was thinking about. The trust was gone, and without it, the love began to suffocate. The easy intimacy they once shared was replaced by a heavy, awkward silence. Their home no longer felt like a sanctuary. It felt like the scene of a crime. After months of trying to piece things back together, Mark finally realized it was impossible. The foundation was gone, and the house had collapsed. With immense sadness, he told Sarah he wanted a divorce. It wasn't a decision made in anger, but in the quiet, heartbreaking realization that the marriage he had cherished was already over. It had ended months ago, in a series of quiet taps on a keyboard and messages sent across an ocean. This story isn't about vilifying Sarah or painting Mark as a blameless victim. It's a cautionary tale about the deceptive nature of emotional infidelity in our hyper-connected world. It shows how easily innocent chats can evolve into deep emotional bonds that starve our primary relationships. What starts as a harmless distraction can become a secret garden, a place we retreat to, leaving our partners outside the gate. The trust that takes years to build can be broken in an instant, not necessarily by a physical act, but by a redirection of the heart. Mark and Sarah. A story is a stark reminder to be mindful of our digital interactions and to fiercely protect the emotional intimacy we share with our partners. Because once that core trust is broken, it can be nearly impossible to get back. Thank you for listening to their story. It's a difficult one, but I think there's a lot we can learn from it. If you've ever experienced something similar or have thoughts on this, please share them respectfully in the comments below. And if you found this story meaningful, consider subscribing for more content that explores the complexities of modern relationships. See you next time.